Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 71st chapter, text number 9. We will read 9 and 10. Gayante Vishada Karma Griheshu Devyo Ragyam Swashatru Badamatma Vimokshanam Cha Kopyascha Kunjarapati Janakat Majaya Pitros Chalabda Sharanam Munayo Bayam Cha Gayanti Te Vishadakarma Griheshu Devyo Ragyam Swashatru Vadamatma Vimokshanam Cha Kopyascha Kunjarapati Janakat Jaya Pitros Chalabda Sharanam Munayo Vayam Cha Ayanti Te Vishadakama Griheshu Devyo Yam Sasatru Vadam Shanam Cha Salabda Sharanam Munayo Vayam Cha Yanti Te Vishadakam Grihesha Devyo Kunjalapati Janakan Jaya Ito Salamda Sharanam Muneyo Vayam Cha Devi Saramesha Devyo Agyam Shatru Vanam Atmana Mokshanam Cha Kopyascha Kunjarapati Janakatmanaya Yota Sabda Sharana Munayo Vayam Cha Yanti Devi Sadakam Devyo Yam Sashatru Yanti Devi Sadakam Devyo Shatru Paramatma Vivakshanam Cha Gopasya Kunjalapate Janakatmajaya Vitotananda Chanam Manu Vaishnavis. Salabda Sharanam Munio Bayamcha Kantite Visharakama Yesha Devyo Rajam Sashatru Vadamatma Vivakshanamcha Kunjarapate Janakatmadaya Itosta Sabda Sharanam Munayo Vayamsa Shantite Visharakama Vihisha Devyo Gayanti, they sing. Te, your. Vishada, spotless. Karma, deeds. Griheshu, in their homes. Devya, the godly wives. Ragyam, of the kings. Swa, of their. Shatru, enemy. Badham, the killing. Atma, of themselves. Vimokshanam, the deliverance. Cha, and. Gopya, the cowherd girls of Braja. Cha, and. Kunjara, of the elephants. Pate, of the Lord. Janaka, of King Janaka. Atmajaya, of the daughter. Sita Devi, the wife of Lord Ramachandra. Pitro, of your parents. Cha, and. Labda, who have attained. Sharana, shelter. Munaya, sages. Vayam, we. Cha, also. Translation and purport. In their homes, the godly wives of the imprisoned kings sing of your noble deeds, about how you would kill their husbands, enemy, and deliver them. The gopis also sing your glories, how you killed the enemy of the elephant king, Gajendra, the enemy of Sita, daughter of Janaka, and the enemies of your own parents as well. So also do the sages who have obtained your shelter glorify you, as do we ourselves. Everyone can please repeat. In their homes, the godly wives of the imprisoned kings sing of your noble deeds, about how you would kill their husband's enemy and deliver them. The gopis also sing your glories, how you killed the enemy of the Elephant King, Gajendra, the enemy of Sita, daughter of Janaka, and the enemies of your own parents as well. So also do the sages who have obtained your shelter glorify you, as do we ourselves. Purport. The great sages and devotees have informed the grief-stricken wives of the imprisoned kings that Lord Krishna would arrange for the killing of Jarasandha and would thus save them from their crises. These godly women would thus sing the glories of the Lord at home, and when their children would cry for their fathers, their mothers would tell them, "Child, do not cry. Sri Krishna will save your father." In fact, the Lord has saved many devotees in the past, as described here. Om Jnanatimirandasya Piranjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Swadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this begins Kayanti te Vishada Karma, the impeccable, spotless deeds of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Amoga. He is Amoga without any tinge of any type of material quality. Queen Kunti, when she was praying to Krishna, she said that you are very bewildering because you seem to be born, yet you're unborn. You are be above all material activity, yet you seem to be acting. So your activities are bewildering to anyone. Therefore, otherwise, who can understand Krishna? No. Because he seems to be in this world. And especially as mentioned in this verse, especially Gopya. Gopya, the gopis of Vrindavan. No. Krishna's activities with the gopis of Vrindavan are very bewildering to the ordinary conditioned soul. Because the most intimate thing that exists within this world is the intimacy between man and woman. And therefore, when people see, even Parikshit Maharaj was bewildered. What to speak of us? Of course, Shukadeva Goswami explains that these things, all these things that are anugrahaya, this is the Lord's mercy. He performs these pastimes that just to enliven the living entities in the material world. When Krishna explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Krishna was in the spiritual world, he saw the reflection of himself in a pond and on a mirror. And he thought, I am so beautiful. Otherwise, but people worship me with awe and reverence. Therefore, let me appear. Otherwise, let me appear as Krishna with my wonderful Leela. Uddhava, who is speaking here, he says about Krishna, Namartya Lila Upayakam Swayogamaya Balam, that Darshayata Grihita. Your human-like pastimes are so amazing because they seem human-like, but they're so wonderful that even Vismapanam Swasya, even you yourself are amazed by them. Just like we have Jagannath. Jagannath is Krishna being amazed by his own activities. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, by hearing Krishna's activities in Vrindavan, they're so amazing that that he himself becomes amazed. Specifically, Uddhava, when he referred to Swasya, he was referring to Mahavishnu. That Mahavishnu is so amazed by your wonderful pastimes as Krishna that he caused 9 sons of a Brahmin to die. 8 of them died, 1 of them disappeared. One of them disappeared because Arjuna was a little puffed up. He thought, he told the Brahmin, don't worry, Brahmin was actually cursing Ugrasena. What kind of a king are you? That a man's son dies before his father. Just like, imagine what the leaders of a modern society, do they guarantee this? No. Srila Prabhupada said that even great kings in the past could guarantee that the climate would always be nice. And leaders nowadays guarantee climate change. No. So, because they're all absorbed in material activity. Even pious leaders, there are pious leaders and impious leaders, even in this world, even in Kali Yuga. But even the pious leaders, they cannot guarantee everything to the citizens. They generally guarantee something to one class of citizens who favor them. No. But this is politics. And therefore, Chanakya Pandit says, very difficult to confide in politicians. Because even if you confide in them, Prabhupada said, he told the devotees, better to preach to the wealthy people. They always have power. The politicians have power for some time. Then, by the vote of the people, or if there's no voting, by the revolution of the people, no, they're no longer in power. So Mahavishnu, he saw his activities were so great, and Arjuna told he told the Brahmin, I will protect you. The Brahmin laughed. Here is Krishna and Balaram. Who are you? No. So Arjuna became a little affected by that. He said, I have a special kavacha from Lord Shiva. No. This is invincible kavacha. No. But there's no kavacha that can shield you from Krishna. No. And Krishna was humored by Arjuna's attempt. He put this kavacha up. And not only did the son die, but he disappeared. No. Just to show, no. Krishna wanted to show Arjuna, who is he? And why are you depending on someone else? You're my friend. You're my intimate friend. So Krishna took Arjuna to Mahavishnu. And then Mahavishnu explained, I took those sons. I just wanted to see Krishna. And then, although Krishna bowed down to Mahavishnu together with Arjuna, Arjuna realized for the first time Krishna is beyond Vishnu. Even Vishnu wants to see Krishna. Even Krishna wants to see Krishna. So, this is the amazing pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, it says here, the gopis, there are different classes of people who are mentioned here. The gopis. Well, first let me speak about. Well, first let's speak about Uddhava. I just quoted Uddhava. So, Sabhagridehe Param Param Bhushana Bhushanangam. He says, Krishna, you are so wonderful. You're so beautiful that your ornaments are decorated by you. Just like Srila Prabhupada gave the example of a gold ring with a diamond. So the gold is very valuable, but the diamond makes the gold look more beautiful. So in this world, we wear ornaments, some ear pin, nose pin, cosmetics, try to look better. But Krishna puts on ornaments and he makes them look better. That's how beautiful Krishna is. So he saw himself and he said, I must come to this world and show the beauty of my activities, the beauties of Goloka Vrindavan. Everyone knows Vaikuntha. They know me in Vaikuntha. Not even everyone knows me, but those who know me, they know me in Vaikuntha. So now let everyone know me in Goloka Vrindavan. And so Uddhava, who is Uddhava? The Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, it says that Esha Mahabhagavatam, Sa Ayam Mahabhagavatam. He is the Mahabhagavata. He is the greatest devotee. So great that and that of all the devotees, Mukyam Krishna Parigrahe. He is Mukya, he is the principal one, he's the chief one of all the devotees. Nanda Gopakumar, he begins by glorifying Prasad Maharaj. And then he glorifies greater than Prasad Maharaj, are the Kumaras, and greater than the Kumaras are the Pandavas. Greater than the Pandavas are the Gopis of Vrindavan. But Uddhava, and greater than Uddhava are the Gopis of Vrindavan. So Uddhava here, he says that Griheshu Devyo. That Griheshu Devyo, these very pious wives, saintly wives, and royal ladies, they're glorifying Krishna. So this has a special meaning also, that Gayanti te Vishada Karma, that even though they have a great position, they understood the greatness of Krishna. And how did they understand the greatness of Krishna? Because there were they were the great sages. It says here, Muneo Bayam Cha. These great sages, because sages are Trikalagya. Not all sages, but these great sages in these times were Trikalagya. They could see into the future. Even Uddhava is giving, from the beginning of this chapter until the end of the next verse, Uddhava is counseling Krishna. Krishna doesn't need a counselor. Krishna knows everything. But just like it says in the previous verse, that even though Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva act only as your instruments in the cosmic creation and annihilation, which are ultimately being done by you. Otherwise, even though there's Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, and of course Vishnu is expansion of Krishna, but Brahma and Shiva, they are the lords of the different modes of nature, that ultimately everything is being done by Krishna in the form of invincible time. Krishna is moving everything. He takes the form of time. Sudarshan Chakra expands into the form of time. By Krishna's will, makes everything happen in this material world. Creation, maintenance and annihilation are all done by time within the material energy. It's all being done by Krishna. But he wants his devotees to be glorified. Of course, he accepts his glorification as Vishnu. But just like in the 11th canto, it says, Tirtaspatam Virinchi Shivam Sanutam Sharanyam. That the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the supreme shelter of everyone. Brahma and Shiva give shelter to so many people, but their shelter is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are great, wonderful devotees. So these ladies are very glorious, but they're glorifying Krishna because they heard from these omniscient sages that Krishna is the only hope for your husbands. Jarasandha, just like in previous verses, it was said that Jarasandha, so powerful, like 10,000 elephants. He was so powerful that he threw an elephant from his kingdom. He made an offering to Kamsa by throwing an elephant from his kingdom to Kamsa's kingdom, to Mathura. Just like, we can throw a flower. We couldn't even throw a flower that far. Or a frisbee or whatever, football or whatever. They pay people thousands and thousands and millions of rupees to kick a ball around or to hit a little ball. But someone who's teaching about the absolute truth, he gets criticized. But someone hits a little ball around, and even sometimes, if there was a cricket game right now, there would be half this many people here. If there was a famous cricket game. I had this happen one time. They wanted me to give class, and then all of it, there was only like 20 people. I said, what happened? Oh, the cricket game. Oh, okay. So this is the material world. We get caught up by the three modes of nature, and we glorify something that is not worthy of glory. But here, these glorious queens, very powerful, they're glorifying Krishna. But there's a motive. They have a motive. And their motive is that they want their husbands to be freed. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Therefore, Uddhava says that, yeah, it's very nice. They want their husbands to be freed. And freeing their husbands will allow the Rajasuya sacrifice. This whole thing is about getting the Rajasuya sacrifice, creating the circumstances. And why is it so important to kill Jarasandha? Because Jarasandha would have interrupted the Rajasuya sacrifice. And also, by killing Jarasandha, Shishupal would be inflamed. First, he would be inflamed by the killing of Jarasandha. And then he would be so envious because Krishna ultimately gets chosen to be to rule over the Rajasuya sacrifice. Someone has to be in charge. Just like here in the temple, we have someone in charge, some devotees in charge. Everywhere, someone must be in charge. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a story of Lord Nityananda. He was wandering around, and he went to one house of a Brahmin. And there was a band of thieves, but they also had someone in charge. A Brahmin, he was a fallen Brahmin in charge. They tried to attack Lord Nityananda, and they were attacked. One time after another, defeated. And finally that Brahmin came and surrendered to the lotus feet of Nityananda, realizing who he was. And Nityananda, he didn't take any revenge, retaliation. No. He put his lotus feet on the head of the Brahmin and said, from now on, you give up your sinful activities. I'm giving you this mercy because somehow or another, you have just glorified Lord Chaitanya because he spoke of Lord Chaitanya. So therefore, no, I'm giving you this mercy. So, so there's always someone in charge. And so Uddhava, he speaks of the gopis. He wants to bring focus. These kings, they're very great kings, Jarasandha. Krishna had to be in charge of this sacrifice. First, they recommended different people, then Bhishma. But Bhishma said, no, they glorified Bhishma. He never got married. No. But he said, I never got married because of family attachment. Because I was attached to my father. And my father, I wanted him to, he wanted to get married, and if he would have, if I would have not taken this vow, then he wouldn't have been able to get the bride that he wanted. Therefore, I took this. But Krishna, he is the most glorious. He is the greatest brahmachari. You say I'm a brahmachari. He was in the midst of the most beautiful women in existence, the gopis, and he walked away. He said, if I would have been there, I would not have been so fortunate. So the gopis are glorified. Now, I want to speak a little bit more about that, but first, then Kunjarapatir. It says here that those who are surrendered, so those who are surrendered, they glorify Kunjarapatir, Gajendra. Surrendered souls glorify Gajendra because of his surrender to the Lord. He was in such a desperate position that the demigods were mocking him. They were mocking him. They were thinking, why are you, we prayed to Krishna, and when we prayed to Krishna, he did not immediately come to us. And you think a mere elephant, you're so puffed up, a mere king of the elephants, that you can pray to Krishna? But then they looked and they saw, here comes Vishnu. So Vishnu came and they followed behind him. And they prayed to the Lord, please forgive our offenses against your devotee Gajendra. He was so surrendered. He could see, I'm very powerful. But what is my power in this material world? The power of Maya. Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas, they equate the crocodile to Maya. So who are we compared to Maya? But if we surrender to Krishna, Mami Vaye Prapadyante Mayamitam Tarantite, then even though Maya is Daivihesha Gunamaya Mama Maya Duryatyaya, very difficult to overcome by surrendering to Krishna. So the surrendered souls, they're giving the example of Gajendra and Janaka Atmaja Aya, and Sita Devi. Who is recommending Sita? The great sages. The great sages glorify Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi for her supreme chastity. And therefore the great sages are glorifying the Lord, how he saved Sita Devi, and showed how, by his example, that Ekapatni, that one, especially, of course, that wasn't Kali Yuga, but he was showing even in a great Yuga, even a great king, better to have one wife. If you have too many wives, like Chitraketu, he had so many wives and he couldn't have a child, and it created such a disturbance in his life. Wanting to have this child, having so many wives. Some devotees in the beginning of our movement, because Prabhupada spoke about how Brahmins and Kshatriyas would have many wives. So some devotees wanted to have more than one wife. So they were pushing Srila Prabhupada in an indirect way. So he allowed He allowed 2 people. And it was a total disaster. And then Prabhupada said, this will not work. And anyway, he said, it is against the law in your country. So, Prabhupada, in Bhagavatam, 12th canto, it says, in Kali Yuga, a man will consider himself very successful if he can maintain his family. That's great success. Anyway. So, Pitros Cha, Labdya Sharanam. And we, the Yadus, we glorify you because you saved, Vasudev and Devaki. We glorify you for that. Otherwise, why is Uddhava saying this? Because everyone can find a very real reason to glorify Krishna. We, the devotees of the Lord, glorify Krishna. He didn't mention any group in relation to the gopis. There was no group. There was no group of people who can represent the surrender of the gopis. Their surrender is so special. And our acharyas, they refer to the gopis in relation to Shankachuda. Why Shankachuda? The gopis were threatened by so many demons, but no demon threatened them directly. And Shankachuda, he threatened to have a relationship with them like Krishna, intimate relationship. And therefore, Uddhava mentions the gopis in that regard. That just as Krishna killed Shankachuda directly to save the gopis, he killed other demons mostly to save the cowherd boys. Generally speaking, it was all in relation to the cowherd boys or his parents, or himself, like Shakatasura or Putana. They won't attack Krishna directly. And then others like Aghasura or Bakasura put the cowherd boys in danger. So Krishna killed them. Trinavarta put Mother Yashoda in danger. Tornadoes are very dangerous, especially in the U.S. Because of their impious activities of killing so many cows. They have all these tornadoes. Practically no other place. They have so many tornadoes, these big storms. They kill dozens and dozens of people every year, and because they're killing cows. And so, they're doing so many things. World leaders in sense gratification, world leaders in bewildering everyone. So that's their reaction. And Trinavarta, very dangerous. And Krishna decided he wanted to show, not only will I kill him, first I'll play with him. Just like Garuda plays with a snake, or a cat plays with a mouse. So Krishna played with him. Krishna thought, let me take a ride. Let me look around, see Vrindavan. And he got on. If you've ever been in a tornado, I've been in one. Not directly inside, but near one. And everything goes up inside, and then it goes up, and then it gets thrown out. And so Krishna went inside, and he went up to the top, and he was enjoying the ride. And then let me kill this demon. This demon, because Mother Yashoda is in anxiety. I had my ride. Now Mother Yashoda is in anxiety. She saw me go up in this tornado, so let me kill it quickly, and Mother Yashoda will not be in anxiety. Because this is Krishna's only business. Krishna's only business is to please his devotees. So now one may ask, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes this point, one may ask, why would Uddhava be so careless as to mention the gopis in front of the Yadavas? This is not, they can't, the activities of the gopis are generally not discussed in front of the Yadavas. But Mother Yashoda is also a gopi, so she's okay. The Yadavas can hear about Yashoda. So because there were many elderly gopis, and especially Yashoda, and also Rohini, she was an elderly gopi, although she was actually a queen, but she associated with the gopis. So, so she's accepted. She's known by the Yadavas. So yes, I could mention this. So, Labdha Sharana Munayo. These, all of these different examples have attained shelter by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, just as in the previous verse it mentions, Lord Brahma and Shiva are your instruments. Now, Bhima will be the instrument. Bhima will become the instrument. And Bhima, being the instrument, will be able to kill. The 3 verses spoke about how Uddhava advising Krishna. Krishna doesn't need Uddhava's advice, as I mentioned in the beginning. But there were 3 verses that mention that Jarasandha is as strong as 10,000 elephants. He has a huge army of 100 Akshanis. That's a big army. He has a big army, and he has a special benediction. He cannot be killed only by someone who is equal. But the only way that that equal person could get access to him is by begging charity, because he has a soft spot for the Brahmin. He's very soft. I'm just mentioning this because many of you weren't here for the last few verses. And so, because of that soft spot for the Brahmins, then, so they decided to dress up as Brahmins. Krishna, so therefore it's mentioned by Uddhava, Krishna, you'll actually do it. You will actually do it. As they approached the palace of Jarasandha, there were 5 big hills that would give notice. These hills were the outlookers. And these 5 hills, if they saw any enemy coming, they would make sounds. And those sounds would alert Jarasandha, the enemy is coming, so he'd be ready. But before the Bhima went up to those hills and just beat them down so they couldn't make any sound. Then there were huge snakes around the gates of his palace. But Krishna called Garuda, and when the snakes saw Garuda, they immediately fled. And Arjuna, he shot arrows to instill fear into the guard. Of course, this is just before they put on their disguise as Brahmins, obviously. And then they disguised themselves as Brahmins. But even when Jarasandha saw them, he said, these Brahmins look very strong, and so he was a little, doubting a little bit. But because they were Brahmins, he had to accept them. But that's a whole another story. I don't want to get into that. So Uddhava, just as he speaks about Bhima being the instrument, he has become the instrument of Krishna. And he's glorified as the greatest devotee. Even Bhishma Dev, when he was speaking to Yudhishthir, because Yudhishthir was lamenting, all these people have died just to put me on the throne. And he wanted to awaken Yudhishthira to the reality. This is Krishna's desire, no? Yam manyase matuliyam. That person who you think is your cousin, no? Who priyam mitram, who you saw as your very dear friend, sohritamam, who you saw as your well-wisher, no? And akarod sachivam, who you saw as your counselor, dutam, who you saw as your messenger, and sauridhat atta sarati, and who saw as your charioteer, Arjuna. No. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You were just thinking these things because Krishna wanted you to be glorified. Krishna wanted the Pandavas to be glorified. And therefore, he took all of these different positions because he wanted you to be glorious. And so now, Krishna wants Uddhava, who is his greatest friend and devotee, the greatest friend among the Yadavas. No, not greater than Arjuna, but Arjuna is in a different rasa. And so this great devotee, Krishna wants him to be the one who he makes an astrological calculation as far as how to make all these things happen. No. But it's actually just Krishna empowering him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, as it says here, the queens of the kings who were captured, they were able to tell their children, don't worry, Krishna will save you. No. So Krishna is always glorified by his devotees, and Krishna is glorified, even, I was making this point yesterday in a different group, that Krishna, if a devotee has the proper vision, he sees Krishna present in every circumstance, just as Uddhava mentions, as invincible time, as the active principle. The invisible time is the active principle of karma. So when we see people getting all their different karmas, we see Krishna acting. And therefore, Mahabhagavata, they see everything is happening perfectly by Krishna's desire and by Krishna's wish. So, this is how Krishna acts as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he always wants to glorify his devotees. He made Ramananda Roy the supreme speaker of rasa. Rupa and Sanatan, who were condemned by the Brahminical society, he made them the exponents of bhakti. Rupa Goswami of the intimate aspects of bhakti, and Sanatan Goswami the philosophical aspects of bhakti. He made Haridas Thakur, who was a Muslim. He wasn't even a Brahmin or anything. He made him the Namacharya. He made Arjuna and the Pandavas victorious in the battle of Kurukshetra. He made Narada Muni the reason why he pulled down the Jamala Arjun trees. Only because of them. Because he was thinking, why should I save these two rascals? They were offensive to my devotee. But my devotee wants it, therefore I must do it. Of course, we shouldn't think, oh, therefore let me, I need this and that. Krishna, help me out. No, that's doing business with Krishna. These devotees are totally surrendered. They have no expectation from Krishna. They simply are surrendered to Krishna and want to serve him. And therefore, Krishna, as Lord Brahma said, Ye praya sho chita chitop sitais trilokyam, that Krishna is conquered by his devotee, even though he's unconquerable in the three worlds, but he's conquered by his devotee. So these are some thoughts on this verse. I was supposed to read the next verse, but anyway, we can save that for later. The next verse is the last verse where Uddhava just tells Krishna, just kill Jarasandha. Everything will work out. So anyway, so I'll stop here.